What's going on? What's going on? You already know who this is. This is your boy, the historian. We got to get to it, baby. We got the bumper to bumper session this afternoon. So let's get to it. Birdcage. Hey, man. Like I said, what's going on? Midday conversation about this team that we love so much, the Dirty Birds. But again, there's a lot of other things going on right now. That's a bit of a distraction. We're going to get to that a little later. I dropped the link in the chat today. I actually would love to hear from you guys live today as well while we're doing this for a couple of minutes. But on the other hand, what's going on, GA Texas boy? You know how we get it. Another day, another dollar. But let's talk about it. There's something that's going on right now with the Falcons that we're trying to figure out what's going to be the next move and how we're going to be able to fix the issues of, as we would say, lack thereof of being able to win when it counts. We have talent on this team. Yes, some of this talent has not been used properly. Now, there are a lot of deficiencies on this team that no one wants to address. Now, I think the biggest red flag, as I said before, was not showing up for the Senior Bowl. You pretty much know what you're going to go for. And at this point, with limited picks, if we don't take somebody at 15, we need to trade back and pick up at least a couple of other picks at this point. That is pretty much where I'm at with it. But at the end of the day, I look at it like this. If you're not going to take 15, trade back, garner more picks. This is a defensive heavy laden draft. Now, one of the issues that we have on this team is at that D tackle spot. Now, one of the guys that I think that has been a bit of a disappointment because he had one good year. I won't even say good. I'll say it was a solid year. That would probably be Mr. David Onyemata. Now, earlier today, I was with some fellow Falcon content creators, and I've already said some of the things that we need to get to the point to do is you got to pull off that Band-Aid at this point. You got to put off the Band-Aid at this point. And all I can say is at this time, I look at it as if the Falcons have a great chance to get rid of some of the dead weight and bring in some new meat, as we would say, to be able to bring in some new energy. Because at the end of the 2024 season, I had vibes of 2016 when we gave up the draws in the Super Bowl at the end. Now, we got two members on this staff that's still here. We have two players on this team that's still here since that time as well. So at this point, when is enough enough? When are we gonna stop being gluttons for pain? Is what as what a lot of people that I know love to say. We've got to look at the fact that we've got to move on. We've got a new quarterback at this point. They're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with Drew Dalman. Shout out to my guy A1 Forever. Check out his podcast if you haven't. He does everything Atlanta sports. Definitely is worth checking out the content. Miss Carrie, I see you. Check out her content as well with my man T Will and those guys. It's so many great content creators out there. We try to network with each other, but at the same time, it's so much to do. But honestly, when are we really going to take seriously our standards? When are we really going to take what's serious with the standards when you talk about the Falcons at this point? You have a ton of defensive players in this draft. You have issues to fix. Now, if you don't keep Drew Dalman, I think they're going to keep him. Financially, it would make sense, but if they don't, I mean, here's another place that you can look for a center. I know he'll be a rookie, but hey, he's definitely earned it. Mr. Cade Mays out of University of Tennessee. He can play not just center, he also plays guard and he plays tackle. And when you look at the fact that we're in a position to where we need to have consistency at the center position, and I think Dalman's getting better, but the question is this: how long is it going to be till we really have to pay this man some serious money? And the question is, are we going to be able to afford it? Because right now we have some money, but not much. A lot of folks want Myles Garrett at this point, but at what cost are we going to get it? Is Kirk going to waive his Is Kirk going to waive his no trade clause? Hopefully he does, but I don't see it happening. Cleveland needs a quarterback, but there are so many free agents right now that are on the market that could also help us. But here's something a lot of people don't want to realize and don't want to talk about. And we kind of touched on it last week in the birdcage. Chase Young. Chase Young's under 30 years old, around 26 years old, and he's definitely cheap at this point. He's been solid when he was with the 49ers. He had a somewhat decent season with the Aints, but at the end of the day, I'm looking at it like this: former first round pick, he's a bit of a journeyman now. He's not a guy that you're gonna sit there and pay that money to. He's got to prove himself to get that type of money when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons. I think that we have a chance to really look at some guys that are coming out of this draft. Michael Williams is definitely a guy that would fit what we do here. Everybody's hyped on Mike Green, but here's my thing: we all know that Michael Williams has some injury problems. And for those that are in the state of Georgia, you know who he is from UGA. If you don't know about him at UGA, some of the locals remember him at Rome, and pretty much at Rome High School in Rome, Georgia. So he's a homegrown kid, tough, physically tough, mentally tough, and definitely is a guy that you can change your franchise with because he's so versatile, like a Swiss Army knife. Now, if you don't get him, you got James Pierce. You have so many different players that you can pick from. It's really like all you can eat buffet. You have all this good food in front of you. And the sad part about it is this isn't the first time we've gone in a draft where we've had an all you can eat buffet about we've been limited with money. Jack Sawyer is a guy that I would look at from Ohio State at that center position. I'm sorry, excuse me, at that outside linebacker position. We've been clamoring about linebackers. We've been trying to get some things squared away and situated with that linebacker spot because honestly, we've had issues with linebackers, whether if it was with injury, whether if it was consistent play, or anything else that happens. So I'm at this point where I'm looking at it like, well, hell, we've got to be in a situation to where I got somebody over here texting me for NBA talk, but you got to calm that down. It's the off season. Ain't nobody thinking about NBA right now. It's Falcon talk right now. I know you're watching. I love you, but nah, we ain't doing that today. It's all about the Dirty Birds right now because we got too many issues that's going on with our team. But honestly, though, when you look at the linebacker position, that is something that you really have to address. Caden Ellis has been playing out of position. We need a true middle linebacker at this point. And that is something else that we've got to address. You have the combine starting this, you have the combine starting this week, or what we have the combine starting this week or whatnot. And everything else is just what you can say is like, wow, Wednesday, Friday is one of those things that you got to look at. So all I can say is I really would love to see, you know, I really would love to see what's going on with how our scouting department is going to react. And all I can say is with the scouting department at this point, what can you trust? And what can you really believe? What can you really believe at this point when it comes to what can you really believe at this point when it comes to being able to trust the decision making that we're actually going to have? And I'm at the point where I really can't trust the decision making of the front office. And I think that we've got to see because right now Terry's ass is on the hot seat. No questions asked. His ass is on the hot seat. We really got to get to a point to where we have competency in their front office. Rich McKay, we all know the problems. But when is Arthur going to step up and say, hey, let these guys do what they need to do? And here's the other question I got for you folks. If Raheem somehow seems to screw this up this year in this weak division that we have, what are we going to be able to do when it comes to replacing him if he doesn't perform? Now, this is the question that a lot of people aren't answering. Who are you actually going to go after when we're actually, if you let him go? Who are you going to go after? What general manager are you going to replace Terry? You're going to replace Terry Fontenot with? These are questions that you have to ask. Everybody wants to just fire people, but who are you going to replace them with? I've already said if we get rid of Terry Fontenot, please bring in Louis Riddick. Lewis is not a company man. He's not going to kiss no ass. This is who should have been our general manager from the start. Now, if you get to a point to where, you're trying to get, if you're trying to get to the next level, how in the hell are you going to get to the next level without leadership? That's my question. What are you going to do to get leadership at this point? What extreme lengths do you want to go to make sure that you have this franchise secure in the future? Now, I opened up the chat for everybody. If you want to come in here and talk a little bit, it's wide open. I'll bring you on. I'll let you talk. As I said, we bumper to bumper. We in the traffic right now, and I want to hear from you guys, not just in the chat. You come in here on live and talk as well, because fans' opinions matter, and this is one of the things that we've got to do at this point. This is one of the things that we got to do is we got to let people voice their opinions to a certain extent, because nowhere else a lot of folks aren't being heard right now. And we have Falcon representatives who look at the shows. They follow a lot of the successful shows, or if it's not successful shows, they definitely tune in to podcasts to see what the fan base is, what they're gauging. Because again, as we said before, no disrespect to 92.9 The Game, they don't let the Falcon fans cook like they should be able to. Let's be honest. The moment you start talking bad about them, or you start telling the truth about what's going on, you get cut off. It's happened to me. It's happened to many others. This is a platform that I would love for Falcon fans to be able to voice their opinions, man. This is something that I look forward to every year. We talk about the draft. We talk about the combine. We want to know what you feel when it comes to this team, because so many people spend money on merchandise, invest time in podcasts, invest so much into a team that is not giving a lot of just due. So at this point, I just look at it as it's something else that could happen. Big Ron, what's up, man? Welcome to the bumper to bumper, baby. What's happening?
What's up? I would love for Louis Riddick to come here.
Been saying that. I got laughed at when I talked about Louis Riddick a long time ago. You know what I mean?
Right, but a lot of people don't know football either. So, and let me say that one more time for the people in the back. A lot of people don't know football. Louis Riddick tell it like it is.
Yep.
I remember we had Matt Ryan and Louis Riddick would call it our game. And Louis Riddick called out Matt Ryan. He was like, Matt Ryan just threw an interception just because.
A lot of people take Lewis as being a hater, but here's the thing about Lewis. Lewis isn't a hater because, let's be real, the man had a pretty successful career as a safety in the NFL, had a couple of stints with a couple of teams. He played with the Falcons at one point, if you remember. And this man understands how to scout talent as well, because everybody that he has called out has been successful in the NFL. Of course, you're going to have a couple of duds here and there, but let's be real. Louis Riddick is a man that I would trust with my franchise in the future of bringing in players at this point.
Yeah. And head coach. Who would I want to be the head coach? How about
who would you
go? Chicago Bears old head coach.
Lovie Smith. Been saying that for months.
Because we lack leadership and we lack discipline. And what I mean by that, Raheem Morris don't call the players out. that you know that I know.
Mm.
And Lovey Smith bring that oh you got to do right or else mentality. That pit bull mentality will be been missing. We need Lovey Smith for like Kyle Pitts.
Man, it's not even Lovey Smith for Kyle Pitts. I want Lovey Smith for my defense. I
Right?
want
I
him to
mean,
bring in pieces that are going. I need him to bring in pieces that are going to contribute, and also they're going to be able to be tough. You
right?
know, let's just put it this way. And with everything else that's been going on, it's it's nuts. All I can say is it's nuts at this point. And when you talk about that, and yeah, Shanahan did that, but here's the thing: money talks and bullshit walks. That's just what it is. And when you really look at it, I look at Atlanta being a team to you bring in somebody. At this point, Zach Robinson got to stay. You're not gonna let a guy that just got here who had 1,000 yard rusher, you had 2,000 yard receivers on this team, and then you got Pitts. I'm sorry, you got Penix to have almost 1,000 yards in 3 games.
Right?
So at this point, I look at it as if what can we do to enhance this? At this point, as we said before, there were many candidates out here, but the problem is you're taking too many yes men. Rich McKay took pretty much Raheem
Yes,
Morris
man.
because of the ties with Tampa.
Right?
And outside of working for him in Atlanta, he worked on their staff in Tampa. So again, you're seeing the results of safe hires. You know, no matter who, I look at it like this, Ron. You look at players that I'm not players. You look at people that were standing up for him. You had Ryan Clark and all those guys on the pivot. You
Right?
have so many people that were standing up for Raheem Morris. But here's the thing: how can you stand up for somebody that pissed down their leg?
Right? Well, that's what I don't understand. You stand up for Raheem Morris, but why you don't call him out in
Mm.
his face? Don't
But
don't be don't be buddy now.
so hold
When,
up. So I gotta address this comment. No one said anything about Dan Quinn, man. No one talked about him. That was just you just brought that up. Nobody's talking about Dan Quinn being fired. A lot of us wanted Dan Quinn fired, but Arthur
right?
Blank was not going to fire that man after that debacle. If you go to the Giants or any other franchise that wins games, they fire coaches. They
Right?
don't care. That's the problem with the Falcon fan base. It's okay to let somebody go if they don't get it done. That is part of the business. It's what it is.
I mean, Dan
Because let's be
Quinn
real,
had
we go 8-8. All right, since you wanted to bring up Quinn, we go 8-8. We start off 8-0. I'm sorry, we start off 6-0. We
right,
literally go on a losing streak in Quinn's first year. While they're fixing stuff, we go 8-8, miss the playoffs. We go to the Super Bowl the second year, we lose. We go to Philadelphia
and
and
lose.
and lose. You take the ball out of Tevin Coleman's hands when he literally was cooking Philly. Keanu O'Neal, who just retired, pretty much dropped the interception that really would have kept the game in balance because the defense was doing their job that day. So again, Dan Quinn did not get it done, and that's 2 years straight that he did it. And then they ended up firing him a little bit later. So it was not premature in him being fired. Again, he didn't get it done. So you have to look at it from a standpoint of where are you going to be, and how consistent are you going to be when it comes to getting the job done.
Right.
I just gave you 3 years. I get the
Well,
first year, the second year, and then you talk about the third year. Then the fourth year, we pretty much don't even get above 500. So again, for a
but
year and failed on a failed mission. That's all that was.
but if we do hire another head coach, I want a head coach that got some experience and being a head coach. that the difference between us and some other NFL teams. They give NFL head coaches that got experience a chance, and we just look over them and go to the wet behind the ears head coaches.
Mhm.
We give them a chance. But what about all the head coaches that got experience? What about that?
So here's my question. So if you don't get a Levy Smith, get him out of retirement. Most folks are saying he's too old, but you got a lot of different folks or whatnot. All I can say is at this point, you gotta really look at it for what it is at this point. Hold up, I got somebody else coming through. Hey Wolf, what's good, man? Come on, what you got? Because I already see you eat. I see you on your break. So what you got for us,
What's
my guy?
going on, man? I'm always on break, right? I'm always on break. What's up with y'all?
Hey man, he always on break or whatnot. So apparently you must be the HNIC.
What's up with y'all,
As they
man?
What's up?
man, just talking
What?
about the Falcons. You know how it go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's an important draft, man. Important, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be.
At this
It's
point,
the
at this
pressure gonna be
point
on.
the question is, can the front office get it right? That's the question. I'm telling you right now, I'm not looking at like we've
Mm,
had conversations and a lot of people are saying different things. I'm
yeah.
looking at the fact that can you make a wise decision that is going to help this franchise? Are you going to
Right.
try to trade back? Are you going to pretty much try to get to a period of building that roster, or are you going to try to make four solid picks that could possibly just be it? That's the question. Which
But
direction are we moving in?
well, you know what I'm saying. Well, you know what I mean, right? Like, you know what I mean, like, I mean, like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Be honest with you, I'm already to the point where you know what I'm saying. It's the Bucks are still the Bucks. You know, you got to beat the Bucks. You
Yep,
know,
they hold the
everybody,
division.
everybody talk about what we doing, and listen, I get it. You know, you excited to go on vacation, you excited for a new car, you excited for, but that's when you young. You know, I'm to the point already where like if I go on vacation, it's regular. You know what I'm saying? My team losing is regular now. It is regular. It's regular. When I say a losers club, when you look at my videos and you see the losers club and why I put the losers club up there, and I got so much traction, is because if you look at the Falcons, I'm not calling people losers. The organization is a loser. I'm not calling the people losers. There's Atlanta Falcon content creators and subscribers and fans that do wonderful things in their life, but you chose a losing organization. It's a loser. And until you can get that right for more than 5 years, you're always gonna have that stain. You always gonna have that stain on you all the time. So for me, I kind of switched my content now to the point where it is what it is. If you're gonna prove it, prove it. Don't talk about it. Don't put hype videos after the Philadelphia Eagles won a Super Bowl. I don't want to see a hype video. I don't want to see a hype video. But
Mm-hmm.
okay, okay. I mean, you want to throw a hype video out there as soon as the Eagles win a Super Bowl. How dumb is that? But okay, okay. You want to do that? No problem. You know, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not. I'm at to where yo, bro, make the right decision because there's nobody at 15 defensive player from college that I heard of that's going to change the whole defense. There's nobody at 15 that's going to change the defense.
Nope. You
Nobody.
need
You know,
nope.
and I
I,
and Rod, I don't even watch college. I don't even
well,
watch college.
here's my thing, bro. I feel like there's some pieces out there that can definitely enhance what we're doing, but I'm
Right.
not gonna sit there. I'm not gonna sit there and say that we're not change. They're not gonna change it, but there are some guys here that can definitely come in here and make a difference
What?
because
Sure.
Everybody,
But
look, everybody's coping right now with the Jalen Carter pick. It's a lot of people that don't want to talk about that. It's a lot of
Oh,
people coping. It's a lot of people who are saying, "Oh, well, y'all Georgia fans." No, it's not that. When you have talent that understands the game, and they definitely could be in that situation where they can change what they do and they bring a winning attitude. Think about it. Jalen Hurts said it himself. He said those dogs that came into this team brought a different mentality
right,
because of the fact that they want to win. They're used to winning. They're used to fighting for everything. Those cats they definitely have a different mindset. Guess what? We don't have that mindset in Atlanta on this team. When you get someone who's supposed to be a franchise player of this team to say, "Oh man, I just work here." Like, really?
right.
Like, come on,
But
man. What's going on,
but
Rich?
that the difference between us and Philly. I said it on your 2 shows ago. We don't go after the guys that got that pit bull mentality. Yes, they mess up outside of football, but still give them a chance. I'm trying to win a Super Bowl. I would
Well,
get. I wanted Jalen Carter. I told my homeboy Dennis Holmes.
it wasn't just Jalen though. Let's be honest, man.
I'm right.
When you sit back and look at that Philly team, you look at the guys like the Brandon Grahams that came through that had a nasty type mentality. You look at the guys like a Fletcher Cox. You have talent that was on display during this run.
Of
Think about it.
course.
They won their champ. Think about it. In 2016, when we went on our run, they had a horrible year because they brought in pieces. They were
You're right.
learning. 2017, they go on an impeccable run, beat the team that beat us in the Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
convincingly on that. And then you also got to look at it like this. And then, Rich, I'm going to let you go. You got to look at it like this. They've been to 3 Super Bowls within 7 years,
mhm.
and they won 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. Now, you mean to tell me that we don't have the knowledge or the personnel to do that? We got an owner that don't mind throwing money away. We got an owner that will throw money away. The problem is we got an idiot that's up under him that is literally screwing us over when it comes to building. They want these character guys. I get it, but here's my thing. A smile and a nice word is only going to get you really $1.25 Coca-Cola and really a walk to the corner, and maybe not even that.
Right.
So again, you got to bring guys in here that have a nasty mentality. You got to bring that. To be a football player, you got to have some kind of damn craze in your mind or whatnot to play this game. It's not for nice guys. It is not for the weak at heart. Rich, what you got, man?
A lot of people not gonna like my take.
We can't hear you, bro. You got to speak up.
I said a lot of people not gonna like what I have to say for real. But
Still can't hear you. You muffled, my guy.
can you hear me now? Oh, I know why. I know why. Hold up.
Exactly why.
I'm still
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I had the Bluetooth speaker on. I forgot about that.
Yes, sir. What you got?
A lot of people not gonna like what I have to say. I don't really care, but I don't feel like our defense was that far off. What I feel like is our coach go draft defensive players and don't play them. That's I'm gonna be honest. That's how I really feel. I'm not mad about the Jalen Carter stuff no more. Like I'm not a person like I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm not a person that likes to soak on the past. I'm just not. I don't care who don't like it. I'm once something's done, it's done. I don't like to keep complaining. I'm gonna be honest. I truthfully hate complainers because at this point we can't redraft. So now all we can do is look forward. But what I will say, I believe that this Super Bowl here showed the Falcons how big of a mistake they made. So honestly, no, I'm just being real because
No, I'm
they
laughing
already
because you telling the truth. Because me and you been saying this for the longest, bro.
Like,
Defense wins championships. Offense takes you there.
because you didn't see the report about Georgia's pro day. Do you know the Falcons was one of the first names on there finally at a Georgia pro day? So I think that first of all, our defense to me was more Raheem fault than Jimmy Lake fault, because you draft Dorless, you draft Rook, you go out there, you put them out there, you see them beasting along the line. Think about it. He put I watched one game where he had Dorless, Rook, what's the other guy named Harris, and I think it was Grady on the line at the same time. They go out there beasting, and you take them out, and they don't even play for the next 3-4 games. Maybe I
Remember,
don't
Rook
even know if they played the rest of that season because he kept leaving them on the injury reserve.
remember, Rook had a hurt neck. That was the other reason why he had him out. Dorless couldn't figure out the playbook. We all know Trice was out, but I said at the beginning of the season, I said everybody was like, "Oh well, we need to get the kid out of Alabama," and I said, and me and you talked about this. I said Jared Verse is going to be the best pass rusher out of this
Oh yeah,
class.
I already knew Jared Verse because me
We,
and you had talked about Jared Verse. Then me and Big Low had talked about Jared Verse. But in the same token, it's like I don't want to keep harping on the past because I see the future. Because I'm gonna tell you, I seen fans complaining about Michael Penix just the other day, talking about
what?
how you see. Oh, you didn't. Oh, y'all not see. I'm just in about every.
I'm laughing, but why are they complaining about Michael Penix Jr.?
I know why.
Because they saying that they don't them three. See, they comparing him to them. They comparing his 3 games to Des. What they keep doing is comparing his 3 games to Desmond Ritter's 4 games. And that's where my issues
That's
coming in
BS.
at.
You can't compare him to Ritter, man. That's BS.
No, so they like, well, next season, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, let me explain something to you. One thing that I realized that we had after his interview was a leader, because he said he don't want to get rid of Kyle Pitts yet. He said, because I trust Kyle. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Kurt didn't throw the ball to Kyle because Kurt was still mad about number 8. Now that I see how petty Kurt can be, he was still mad about not getting that jersey swap because he's always played with the number 8. I'm just being honest. Just seeing how petty he is, I'm starting to sort of believe that. Because Penix, this is exactly what Penix said. Penix said, I trust Kyle Pitts, but Kyle got to trust himself. And now you see reports of him, Drake, and Kyle, doing a little thing during the off season right now, just getting more acclimated with each other. Now, as far as on our defensive end, I don't think we're going to ignore the defense this draft, because it's just, I'm going to be honest, I've done like 4 or 5 mock drafts, right?
Yep.
In every
Seen
mock
3 of them.
draft I've done, Jalen Walker and Jack Sawyer fall to us. Every single one. In a couple of them I did, Mike Green fell all the way down to like the 20th something pick. And I still was able to get Jack Sawyer. Because see, what people fail to realize is this year number 50, for some odd reason, the Falcons always had the right pick to make people want to draft. Because people were like, well, how did you get all them picks? Because it was teams that's willing to offer you 2-3 picks just to get 15, because this draft is so defensive heavy that everybody finna go. I don't think, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think a lot of them quarterbacks and wide receivers and offensive lines gonna go where people think they're gonna go in that top 10, because this draft so defensive heavy that you be a fool to not go defense this year. Just in every scenario mock draft I've done, this is so defensive heavy you can't even decide who to get.
It's only a few. Hey, Rich, it's only maybe like about 3 or 4 offensive players that should go in the first round, if you ask me. 3 or 4. Other than that, it's supposed to be all defense, bro. It's only 3 or 4 guys that I believe that can
everybody
go
that
first
traded
round.
with me on the mock drafts picked up defense. So in my mind, this draft, so the only thing that scared me about my Falcon organization, this the only thing that scared me, is the fact because it's so defensive heavy, they'll go get the top wide receiver out of Ohio State.
Why? Why did
I'm
I know
just
you was
telling you,
about to go
don't
there?
be. I'm just being honest because I know how I see how we've been drafting. It's
Yep.
like when it's fully offense, then they go defense. When it's fully defense, then they try to get the best offensive player, even though I don't want them to get nobody off offense. If you're not going to get I can't even think of their name right now. Oh boy, that's the center out of Ohio State and that other center that I seen. If you're not going to
Yeah,
get
you
one
talking
of
about
them two,
McLaughlin.
yeah, if you're not going to get one of them two, I don't are top right tackle. I don't want to see offense. Period.
I
We
got
don't
one
need
for
it.
you. I got one for you, and I gotta let Jayden cook because he's been waiting patiently too. You got Cade Mays out of Tennessee, who can play multiple spots on that line. I
Yeah,
already told you about my boy Carson Vincent. I told you about him. Dude is a monster. And outside of them, as you said, receivers are gonna be very different when you look at how everything is going at this point. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna go receiver. But Jaden, what you got, man? And I'm gonna bring it back to you, Rich.
All right, so everything y'all said, I definitely agree with. We gotta get this draft right. Ain't no if and or buts about it. And I don't care who like it. And Ryan, you know what I'm about to say, dog. I don't give
You're rich today.
a damn how these fans are with these splashy ass players. Defense win championships. It's just what it is.
Mm.
All this with the splashy offensive signings and all that. If you ain't got legit defense, it don't mean nothing. It's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
man,
And depth.
our offense so nice. We don't even need to touch the offense because you can bring back Rondale Moore. You don't even have to get a wide receiver.
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, I got a guy I want to bring in. HBCU player, but man by the name of Joaquin Davis.
Mm.
Runs a 4.4, 6'4", 205 pounds out of North Carolina Central. Please look him up. Definitely is a guy who plays special teams too, but he's got reliable hands. Don't that kind of remind you of a HBCU wide receiver we got that make plays on special teams?
Yeah,
Yep.
Difference is this dude like to block and hit folks too. That is the other thing. He can play the X, the Y, and the Z slot. So you don't have to draft him. You take him as an undrafted free agent or a lower round draft pick. That right there would suffice Rondale Moore. I like Rondale Moore, but I'm looking at it like this. What is he gonna be like coming off that knee injury? When you can get a kid that is 100% healthy, that comes from a system that does not mind wide receivers don't mind blocking, but he can also turn this 60-yard, put it this way, turn a 5-yard slant into a 65-yard marathon where you got to catch him. And he don't get caught from behind. Rich, I got footage on him, dog. I gotta send it to you.
okay. Because it was only one receiver I wanted out the draft, and that was Nick Nash, and that's because he scored 16 touchdowns out the slot.
And don't forget about God. Don't forget about the kid out of Texas, TCU, Brett.
Yeah,
Don't forget about Beck because he's a guy that definitely could be nasty. You know, God rest his brother's soul. He passed. He was one of the ones, unfortunately, lost his life around the Sugar Bowl time in New Orleans. But that kid that showed out in the Senior Bowl, like literally put his number. He already was on every people's draft boards, but that Senior Bowl put him in a whole nother stratosphere. Honestly.
but I just really feel we need to go defense here because it's so heavy on defense from safety to cornerback, the D line, the
Mm-hmm.
edge. It's just like, bro, you can't mess it. If you mess this draft up, you just don't care about us. That's just how I'ma feel.
You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied about it because when you look at some of the guys that are coming out, I've already, we've highlighted some guys. There's an offensive lineman out of Arizona. I
Yeah,
talked about him last week.
yeah.
That is a guy that can play right tackle and start right now, or he could play guard. He's played every position on that line. For me, I'm looking at it like this, Rich and Wolf and Ron and Jay. I want offensive linemen that can play multiple spots because you don't know what the injuries are going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna play out. And you want to have guys that would probably have a rapport with the other guys on the line. If somebody goes down, somebody can slide right in. That's what I'm looking at. I need Swiss Army knives on that O line. How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah.
I
We
mean, you seen one of my picks on the O line on that
That,
mock draft I did.
that was
I
one of
want an
my
O
picks
line.
I had on mine. That's why I
Yeah,
laughed.
cause I mean, I'm gonna be honest. As much as I love Drew Dallman, I want him to come back, but I also want him to get his bag. If his
Yep.
agent can get him that bag, go on and let him get a bag. It's just I respect him enough, but my own because me personally, I feel like Newsel can hold it down for 1 year if we draft us a rookie.
Yeah.
Cause Newsel ain't bad, he just don't get snaps.
Nope. And
So
but
we
if you don't
really
draft
got
the right tackle, you got to let Storm Norton play if you don't draft a right tackle. That's just me. We got to
yeah.
protect Penix's blind side at this point. If you don't want to go get one of these young nasty tackles that's in the league, that's getting ready to come into the league, you pretty much gotta look at it from a whole nother standpoint now. And again, here's the other thing I want to put out to y'all, and I want y'all opinion on this. I'm gonna let Wolf, Ron, Jay, and then Rich. I'm gonna ask y'all this. Terry was nowhere near the HBCU combine, folks. Now he's missed the Senior Bowl combine, and he's also missed the HBCU combine. My question is, how do y'all feel about this cat missing all these combines to be able to check out players? Now that's a couple of combines that he's missed. How do y'all feel about that, fellas?
to me, it sounds like he don't care. So why should we? I was gonna get him the boot right now. You you come from New Orleans and they're scouting in what you did in New Orleans. So why you not doing it here? So you tell me you don't care. So why should if I'm Arthur Blank, why should I care? Why should I care how you feed your family? You showing me you don't care. You showing
Hold
me
up.
you
So before you before you finish that, so here's the thing, Jay, and I'm not trying to go back and forth, but here's the problem. When you look at how inefficient the scouts have been when it comes to picking up a lot of the mid rounds that we actually are great at, that is an issue because the Falcons have never had a problem with drafting guys in the third or fourth. We have hit. So at the end of the day, we really have spot. Terry was at pretty much every combine and pretty much every Senior Bowl. And then you also got to look at it like this. There have been many other general managers in the league that have been present at a lot of these workouts and a lot of the stuff that these kids are doing. So until we figure this out, it's going to be a consistent issue. So, and it's not that I'm trying to discourage the comment. It's the fact that I agree with you on that. We have people there, but the problem is the people that we've had there have been really insignificant in trying to make things work.
what?
Now y'all can go ahead and finish. I apologize about that. Got to
Like
interact with the crowd in the chat too.
like I was saying, you showing us you don't care. So why should we show you we still care about you? You're not doing your job. Your job is finding the right players. If you're not going to those places, why should you keep your job? At this point, I don't give a
You can
if
say
you
it.
stay or
You can say
go.
it.
I don't give a damn. At this point, you sorry as hell.
I'm,
Ball headed.
I'm
I mean,
okay with him missing. I'm okay with him missing the combines. I'm okay with it.
Hey
I
Wolf.
know.
So Wolf. So you really trust this scout?
No, 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 no. The question you
That's my
asked is, how do
question.
you feel about him missing the combines? I'm okay with him missing the combines. I'm okay with it because you have
I'm
to
not.
delegate.
I'm
I
not.
know, I get
But
it,
guess
I get
what?
it, I get it. You know what I mean?
Hey,
But you have to delegate. The job of a general manager is to delegate to your subservients or your subordinates to where you need them at a given time. Now, you have a good financial guy on the staff. You have a great, actually, Greg Beatles. If you do your research, he's a great financial guy. So they have a lot of decisions to make as far as contract wise in the next coming years, especially if Michael Penix performs to the ability that I already said it. He's going to be the top two Falcon quarterback of all time, in my opinion. I'll say it right now. Nobody got to jump off the bridge with me. I'll say it right now. So there's a lot of financial decisions also the Falcons have to also look at. So if he's delegating other people going to the combine and he's delegating more of the financial side, then I'm okay with it. Because you have to also depend on your other workers that work for the Atlanta Falcon organization. Now, maybe they're not doing the job that they need to do as far as scouting, and maybe we need to look at that a little further. But a general manager has to delegate. So if I have a show, Wolf respectfully has a show, and I have two or three hosts, I have to delegate what those hosts have to do. I mean, it's a team effort, you know. So I'm okay with it.
so
I'm
Wolf.
all right with it.
So here's the thing. So Wolf. So here's the thing. I'm gonna ask you. Now you're saying all of this or whatnot. But here's my question, and this is where the pushback comes at. Okay, you delegate the job. However, when you look at the inefficiency, because guess what? You've been doing a lot of shows because you flipped your narrative, right? You said this earlier. You flipped your narrative. The reason you flipped your narrative is because we have not been winning or producing. And you look at the type of caliber of players that we're bringing in. This is the reason why the scouting department has been a problem. And the thing is, you're saying this about Terry or whatnot. But again, as I said before, if you can't get the job done, you've got to start putting yourself into the fold right there with your scouting department. Because if here's my thing, you don't just fire somebody right out the gate. I'm not just gonna throw them out the window. If they're not getting it done the way that you want it done, guess what you got to do? You've got to train them. You've got to be right there with them. Hey, this is what we're looking for. This is how we got to do this. You got to look at this, and this. This is the issue that I'm speaking on. The money ain't the problem. I'm okay with Terry and the finances. It's pretty much how are we going to be able to bring in talent, Wolf? Because the scouting department has failed a lot. That's all
So,
I'm saying. The scouting
so, so,
department failed a
right.
lot.
But the greatest,
Outside of the
so,
first round
so,
pick,
right. So you're talking about bringing in talent through the draft, or you bringing in talent through free agency?
Oh yeah,
both.
that's it right
I'm
there.
looking at Wolf. I'm looking at all of it
Okay.
because here's the thing.
Okay. So
I'm looking at all
basically,
of it. I'm looking at
okay.
all of it.
Okay. So basically, free agency, I don't worry because I have a great salesperson who can bring in free agents. I mean, Arthur Blank is a great salesman. I mean, he's brought in free agents himself. Him himself. I mean, there's players that said when he walks into the room, he changes the atmosphere in the room. I mean, there's players that said that countless times. So I'm okay with that aspect. Now, as far as the draft, again, you guys are more knowledgeable about that. I really don't don't pay too much attention to it, but I know it's a very important aspect of how to build a team. Now, they might go a Chase Young, or they might, let's say, Ebiketie uh, goes from 6 sacks to 10 sacks. I don't, I, you know, there's a lot of ways that you can build the defense, and maybe they'll hit this time. The problem is that we have not played a meaningful game in Atlanta. We have not played a
Okay.
meaningful game in Atlanta. And I think people are missing that point. Since the Mercedes Benz has been built, we have not had a meaningful game at that stadium. And we need to start having meaningful games at that stadium.
And
We
you know where
need
that
to start
starts at?
bringing the culture around. Okay.
Can
And again, you know where
can
that starts at? You're saying all of this, Wolf. But guess where that starts at? That starts at everything I've been saying. You've got to pretty much get on board with this pretty much with these guys from not just free agency, but you gotta hit the draft. Here's my thing. You gotta hit the draft like Steve Smith was hitting this man's wife the other day. That's how you gotta
Woo.
hit the draft. I'm going
I
hard today. It's
I
just
have
what it is, man.
I have a
I'm
question.
sorry to
I
I'm
I got
sorry
a
to say
question
it
to
like
that.
that, but it's the truth. You gotta think about it. You gotta have Falcon fans in this organization talking about, Lord, I love it. Just like this man, just like Steve Smith's this lady that Steve was messing with was hitting him up in the text message. That's how Falcon fans need to be when we get our stuff together, when we get this draft together, when we get all this stuff. All I'm saying is this here until you start really drafting players and really not just using just the cameras and just highlight film, when you go old school, guess what? You have some new school folks that can work the technical side. This is what you do. Then you have the old school folks that definitely are good at seeing talent with the naked eye. The
I
naked
have a
eye never lies.
I have a question.
Hey, oh, go ahead.
Oh, what's up, Jay? I'm
We're
sorry,
going
man.
we're going on big. Hey, I'm not trying to be an asshole and argue with you in the
No, you
comment.
not.
I
Go
agree
ahead,
with you,
bro.
saying. So y'all said that the topic was how we feel about him missing the combine and the senior pro day. I'm cool with that because I know, buddy, you got a lot of shit on your plate. We broke right now. We got a handful of draft picks to work with, and you got to work on roster moves. All right, so I respect that by you not being there. We got a scouting team. So far we got a hit on this scouting team. Everybody say the scouting team has been poor the last few years. Okay, but shit, we also been having coaches not developing this damn talent that we have on this damn roster. Cause we got players we drafted last year. We don't even know what the hell Brandon Doors look like.
But Jay,
Hey, now you right about that. Cause one
uh,
thing about it that I keep telling people, you can sleep on our linebackers this year if you want to. One thing I know Jeff Ulbrich know how to do,
Those
find
line,
that
linebackers.
linebacker.
but
Yep.
ain't that part of your job to go get the best talent if you're a
Not
GM?
Not really. His job
How?
is more so financial. He
No,
really
no, no,
don't
yeah.
see. I agree with Wolf to a
But
degree because, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because being a general manager, if you ever look at any job you're on, a general manager don't do nothing but delegate. I've worked plenty jobs with a general manager. It almost look like they not doing nothing. But then when you like one of my general managers that I got cool with, I used to think he don't do nothing, but then when I actually sat in his office one day, he got to make sure every employee doing their job. He got to make sure the supervisors doing their job. He got to make sure that all of the production in this warehouse is going out on like. That's why I agree with Wolf because you got to look at what Terry got to do. First of all, can we trade back? Because we don't have no money to pay our draft picks. So
and,
trading back may be a problem. Then he
and
may be trying to work on keeping Drew Dalman. Then he may be trying to decide who to keep out of Justin Simmons or Matthew Judon. Then he may be trying to decide, well, if we do trade back, how can we get the money to make sure we can pay who you want in free agency? Because they already said that the Browns finna offer Myles Garrett a dumb contract. They not even finna trade him. They just finna offer him stupid money. So
but
after Myles Garrett, who do you pick in free agency? Do you get a free agent cornerback? Do we draft a cornerback? Do
but
we do this? So Terry got a lot of work to do this season. Because I'm gonna be
right.
honest with y'all. Terry, I'm gonna be honest, Terry ass was on the hot seat after that season, after we
Right.
lost that Carolina game.
But that part of your job, if you did not want the job, why you take the job?
See, part of his job is delegating. That's why they hire
Part of
scouts
your
because
job to get the best talent.
but
Part of
see,
your job
that's
go
what
look
I'm
for yourself.
that's what
You
I'm trying
cannot
to
depend
explain
on
to you.
nobody else to do your job.
How's that
That's
Terry
what
fault?
then
I
this what I'm
cannot
trying to
depend.
explain to
Wait,
you. There will be no need for scouts,
wait a
Ron.
minute. I cannot
How's it
depend on y'all to do my job every Monday
His
or every Tuesday
his
or every
job is not really
Thursday.
to go scout the players. That's what you hire scouts for. So that's
how's
basically saying that you don't need your managers. You might as well fire all your scouts and let him. He can't do everything.
See
how's
But
it
that?
here,
Terry fault for us losing the Carolina game?
we're
It's
not
not
saying
his
that's his
fault.
fault. We
We're
can't
not
say that
saying that.
part. No, what we're saying
No.
is this. We're
Uh
saying the talent, the talent that's being brought in or whatnot he's
It's
signing
what put
off
him on
on
the
that.
hot seat.
And what puts him on the hot seat is this: that scouting team that is out there right now. That's pretty much his product, because guess what? They have an idea of what he wants, because he's gonna tell them before the draft what he wants, what he's gonna look for. He and
Okay.
Raheem Morris, whoever the head coach is. The issue is this: the scouting team is not bringing in that talent that needs to be in the first round. They've done it a few years because they've gone offense, but if you look at it in the middle rounds, we have not really hit on much, bro.
That's
And
why
that's the
they made
problem.
that. That's
I mean,
why they made that female head of the scouting department. They switched some of their scouts around because
Oh, they
Terry.
did, but they did. But we're speaking on right now. We ain't speaking. We not speaking on this because we haven't had the draft yet. We're
Mhm.
speaking on what we've gone through so far
I
during
mean,
the Fontenot era.
so far we've been decent on the sec. I mean, we've been decent in the latter rounds.
But
I
let
mean,
me
have we
ask
not?
you this.
Nah,
Let me
we
ask
always
you
hitting
this,
about the
In
Jay.
the
fourth
sec,
round on
it-
down. We
That
always
the
hit.
I
problem. We've
mean,
been decent. I don't want to be decent no more.
But
I
Decent
mean,
no
the
good
draft is
over
a
there,
it's a
but
I'm gonna
it's
at
be
a
home on
honest
the
it's
though.
couch.
a it's a
hold
I
on, one at
can't
gamble.
a
blame
time, fellas. Hold up, one at a time. Yeah, we can't talk all over each other, so y'all, let's do it
I'm
one at a time. Jay, go
I'm
ahead, because Jay been waiting.
okay. I'm saying he been decent in the middle round since he been here. We can't judge him by based off the players who the hell we wanted. We didn't get him, so he didn't do this or that. He didn't do good or that. We can't judge him just based off who the hell we wanted. Cause shit, how in the hell we been? Man, hold on. Then last year or whatever, they want an old boy from Houston, Tyreek Wilson or whatever buddy name. Everybody so high off this dude, and we don't know what the hell Buddy did this damn year. So on the cool, we really been dodging bullets based off who the hell we actually been wanting that we
and
really
see
didn't get.
that's what I was about to say about Jalen Carter.
I'm going back
Yes,
on.
I'm mad we didn't get him, but if you think about it, B. John at least produced in his first year. Jalen Carter did not produce in his first year.
And they only
So
use, and here's the thing, they only use, to be fair, they barely used him, and they was running him in because they was still paying Fletcher Cox that money. That's the reason they didn't play him like that. I live right up here. And the thing was, Fletcher actually was telling them, you got to play the young guy. But again, Jeffrey Lewis was trying to get his bang for his buck. So again, like you were saying, on the business side, you're gonna play the guy that's getting the most money at the time. You're ne- it's
yeah,
never going to always be perfect where you get the best player in there.
Well,
You're pretty much going to play the guy that's getting the money. That's who you're playing. These
that's
owners
why
look like
Kirk
you said.
stayed in so long.
Exactly. You're going to try to get as much bang for your buck. So again, at this point, when are we going to start seeing, as we said, you're going to bring in those young guys? Dorless has got a chance to play this year. Let's see what he does, because again, he struggled with the playbook this year. That was reported that he struggled with the playbook. But I get it because he was a rookie. So I understand. But now that you've been in the system for a year, let's see what you're going to do this year with a new defensive coordinator that's going to be aggressive
Can I?
But
with
Can
then
your
I?
the
skill
thing
set.
is, did he
Okay.
struggle with the playbook because he wasn't playing with the ones like Michael Penix? Wasn't playing with the ones, then you throw him out there and you wondering why can't nobody catch it. See, that's why I say a lot of this really goes back to coaching. I don't really blame a lot of our players because what's that he said? Oh, I don't care who that is. They ain't playing in the preseason. But then when we come out flat the first 2 or 3 games, then we like, bro, what you should have threw. But see, I don't. That's what I don't understand about every coach we get. It's
Yeah.
like they have a fascination with not playing their starters. Kansas City were doing trick plays in preseason. Not saying that their season turned out the best, but at least they were ready. Is all I'm saying. Now,
do
the
I
O
agree.
line was a suspect. Of course, the O line been suspect all year, but at
That was
least
suspect last year for Kansas City.
and the year before that.
yeah,
Hey,
but what I'm saying is at least they got gameplay reps. You trying to
Right.
bring everybody in cold and then expect them to just get the clicking, and then when it don't work, you want to keep just trying stuff out there. Like we seen Kua hurt what game 4, game 5, and
Right.
we kept trotting
But
them out there. I was at one
so
of the games and I watched Koo limp off the field after making a kick. I'm like, bro, why are you kicking? It does not make sense.
but it go back to what I just said. Stop giving these first time head coaches the job. Go get a head coach
wait a
and
minute,
got
Ron. Hold up, Ryan. He's not a first time head coach. He's a second time head coach because remember he started in Tampa. And then we see GA Texas boy. What's good? I see you popped in, family. What you got?
Going on, everybody? How everybody doing in morning?
What's up?
Hey, I keep forgetting you on the West Coast, so it's morning over there with you. It's afternoon over here on the East.
Well, it's just not 12:30 out here.
Hey, it's still somewhat morning, my brother. What you got?
Oh man, just like somebody has said in the comments earlier, like I really feel like this was Terry first year controlling the team
Mhm.
without the oversight of Rich McKay. Because I said it on somebody podcast yesterday. Think about it. This offseason, we went and got two good quarterbacks, tried to trade back into the first round, and we brought in two all-pro players.
Mm. We did. And guess what? I got to give Terry, I got to give him some credit for trying to make those moves because definitely those were bold. Unfortunately, those three moves unfortunately didn't pan out. We thought it was fool's gold at the beginning of the season.
But
So
had it panned out when nobody had
Terry
no
would have looked like a
complaints.
genius if it had panned out. Let's be honest. We
Yeah.
all would be praising him right now. We
Hey,
all would, myself included.
but then you know why I agree with you, GA Texas boy, because if you remember that interview that Rich McKay had, he said that ain't no way I was finna let Terry on his first year go out here and run everything. He kept Terry under his wing, and remember, he said we let Terry handle the free agency. We let Arthur Smith handle the draft. So you can't
Yep.
blame Terry for the draft of these last 3 years where we picked offense because that was Arthur Smith pick. You can tell Kyle Pitts was, man. You don't
Rich.
remember when.
Think about it. Of
But
course,
Rich,
we
how
had
many
we
times
had
but Rich,
Julio
how many
Jones
times
and Calvin Ridley already.
but hold up, Rich. How many times have you heard me say it and you've been on the show when I said Arthur Smith screwed us up? You don't hire a head coach before you hire the GM. And they gave him power that Terry didn't have. I said that a while ago.
Hey,
But
and you know
now,
how I know anyone can say what they want. I know Kyle Pitts was the Arthur Smith pick. You know how I know? Because if you don't remember that last year, Arthur Smith was here when they said he was out there looking at Brock Bowers for the next year. He was out there salivating at the mouth. He loved tight ends. He loved offensive line. He don't really care about defense like we care because he was one that felt his offense could overcome anything. That's why he picked Marcus Mariota, which was the biggest mistake he could have made. So Terry was really not. I think that's why, if you ever notice, in them interviews Terry didn't have a smile on his face when Arthur Smith was here because he knew he wasn't really making the moves. It was Rich McKay and Arthur Smith.
Yep.
Now he got a smile on his
A
face, and
big
I don't
smile.
think it's because of Raheem. I think it's because, like Bruh said, he finally got full control. Now, had what he
And
did
oh,
worked
sorry.
out, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because we might have went to the Super Bowl this year.
so
And just
here's the
think about what
question.
Arthur Blank said before we hired Raheem Morris. Even though Terry wasn't in the interview with him and Rich McKay, Terry Fontenot is involved. Every step of the way, Terry will have a say so on the next head coach in Atlanta.
Mm.
So here's the question. Now that he has control, but we also know that McKay ain't all the way out the picture. If
Mm.
you think that, you're a damn fool. If y'all really believe McKay is all the way out the picture, you're a damn fool. I guarantee you there's say so behind closed doors. It's just not coming out. And we all know this. If anybody is in the business world, Rich, you understand that. You
Oh
ain't
yeah,
finna
it's
tell
all
them to
about
walk away.
optics. Rich McKay is
No,
right
I'm
in the
saying
room
optics,
next door. I'm telling you, he
but
in the
I'm
room
saying,
next door.
but let's be real though. Terry has authority. He finally has autonomy. But we all know that autonomy is limited to a certain extent. We all know that. It's
Yeah,
not like it was in New Orleans where Mickey Loomis let Terry just do his own thing. You feel me? Because think about it.
but
Every
that's
year they were
why
competitive.
the Saints defense was so good because Terry got to do his own thing. Man, we had
And
problems with the Saints defense the whole time that man was over there. Let's just keep it real.
from
But
him being a scout, think about it, from him being a film, pretty much a gopher, to being a scout, to
and
moving up
played the
as an
game.
assistant GM.
And Terry played the game.
Yep, Terry played at Tulane. And this is why we were saying earlier. We said if it was anybody that you would bring in that understands how to bring in talent too, but I don't understand why the NFL is blackballing the man. we said Lewis Reddick would have been another perfect fit
Yeah.
for him.
Right.
He also played here in the city, and he understands because guess what? He calls not only NFL games, he's calling college games on Saturday. So he sees that talent every week. Just saying. That would
That's
if
why. That's why people were mad at me on my mark because I picked old boy out of Kentucky that's like 6'7", 340
oh, you talking
D
pounds.
about
tackle.
Demani
Deion
Walker, the
Walker.
D tackle.
Yeah, they were mad at me for
Perfect.
picking him. I'm like,
Man,
why?
but between him and my man Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss, man, you out your mind if you pass up on either one of them at that D tackle spot.
But
If
that's
you
But
don't
what
go
I'm
once
with him.
Alfred
saying. Like
Collins out of
the
Texas,
fans are
6'6",
so
350.
the
Yep.
but once
fans are
again,
so upset about everything. See, I'm gonna be honest. As Falcon fans, we've gotten a real negative, and I noticed that in them Falcon groups, and I get it because truthfully, if you want to be real, they asked a question on another podcast the other day. They said, "How can we get the stadium to be like the old dome?" I told them straight up, until you win, you gotta understand. We did a lot of winning in that dome. We do too
Mm-hmm.
much losing in the dome.
Yep. As much
They
but
keep
as
blaming
people
it
try to
on
transmit Ryan,
but see, they keep blaming it on it's a bar, it's a this, it's a that. No, they just ain't winning. Folks
but
don't care about being at the bar when you win. I watch folks leave that bar and come to their seat when they feel like we gonna win. The only reason they go to that bar is because we start losing, and instead of leaving, they want their money's worth, and then they'll sit at the bar.
so here's the
You
question
think,
I
you
got.
think the bench? You think the bench was? It gave me a free suite because they was popping? No, they gave me a free suite because nobody was coming to the games.
And
That's
again,
my
Nobody,
point.
nobody went to. Nobody was going to the games. If you look at what the bench makes, the Falcons don't even equate to half of what they make per year. The
They
soccer
don't.
team, the soccer team is beating them right now. The soccer team is beating them right now, and the
well the
soccer
difference
team is
is the
brand
soccer
new.
well the difference is the soccer team has been in the playoffs and they won a championship. That's the
Right.
reason they beating them out.
So when you talk about yo, like listen, it's a cure for everything is winning in the NFL. It's winning. Like everybody think Kansas City gonna be there next year. Kansas City gonna be there next year.
I
Joe
I agree.
Burrow and them gonna be there next
don't
year.
know about
Lamar
that.
gonna be there next year. Josh is gonna be there next year. And I guarantee you, I told people Matt Ryan, Michael Penix is going to be 1 and 2 because he's that good. He's going to be able to make up. He's going to be able to make up what the defense lacks because you had Joe Burrow 3-13 next year Super Bowl. Matt Ryan 1-15 next year Super Bowl.
But what
You
did
know
but
how I know
Wolf,
Wolf been
but
telling.
wait a minute, Wolf. But what did Burrow have in that second year? He had a defense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He had a
Okay, yeah,
defense.
okay.
Think about it. You had Trey Hendrickson, you had Jesse Bates. I mean, you had a loaded defense on that team that year they went to the Super Bowl, and then they go back to the playoffs the next year, and then they go to an AFC championship game and lose or whatnot. So
Oh,
again, when you look at it, Joe
But you
Burrow is the key to that team to a certain extent. But when you
hey,
look at the fact that they had the defense, think about it. We got one of their best defensive players starting for us right now that
yeah.
played on those teams, Jesse Bates.
and the
So
crazy
again,
thing is we
But
could
those
have
are the
drafted
monsters,
Bates.
Ryan. Those are the monsters that you're gonna have. You're gonna face one of those monsters. You're gonna
yep.
face one of those monsters in the Super Bowl. That's what Michael Pettis is gonna face. That's what. Listen, people want to talk crap about Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield had a great season. He had a great season.
He
We
Jared
still got
almost
Goff.
that
had
dog
Baker
in him.
Mayfield in
Uh,
Atlanta
uh, uh,
before we got
Hey,
Kirk Cousins.
well, I mean, you
listen.
say that about Baker, but let's
Uh,
be
uh,
real. Look at it
yeah,
like this, Wolf. I'm gonna give you this. Look at it like this. Now you're saying those monsters that you got to face in the AFC. I get it, but guess what? You got to get through the NFC first. You
Mhm.
got to get through Philly. You got to get through Washington, who's gonna be around for a minute. You
the
got to get through
49ers.
Detroit. You got to get through. You got to
See,
get through
I
freaking
don't know
Tampa
about the
Bay.
Lions.
Really,
Hey, but
I
one
want to
the
see
thing
what the
division right
Lions
now.
gonna do
one
because the
thing
Lions lost both their coordinators, and you know how that go. When you lose coordinators, you about to lose players
but
as well.
you know how I
Yep.
know Wolf not lying? Because I went on one of the Kansas City groups and they posted a post where they coach, the head coach, He
And
said he going to get trenches this year. He ain't getting nothing, no skill players. He going to get straight O
yeah,
line and defense.
because
And
you see
again,
how they got beat in the Super Bowl. I would
No,
have
I
been
know it,
thinking
but
so.
you've never,
that's
let's
just
be
the
real, you've never seen an Andy Reid team, whether you go back to his Philly days, whether you go back to him being a coordinator with the Packers, being the OC for the Packers, you've never seen an Andy Reid team get beat in the trenches like they did in this Super Bowl. The last time you
Right.
saw that was against the Bucks. You've
that's why
never
he
seen them get manhandled like
that's
that.
that's why he told Kelsey, we need to know within the next 3 days what you gonna do. Cause if you not, we going to Atlanta, we going to get Kyle Pitts because he want to rebuild that whole offensive front and defensive front. He said
Mm-hmm.
it. He let the Kansas City Chiefs fans know on that post because you know they always make memes out of it. He said, look, we not going to get sexy pieces this year. We going to get straight dogs in the trenches, O-line and D-line. Because if you really look, this draft is full of, see, this is what I was trying to explain to you, Ron, a little bit. Most of them GMs are already looking at 2026 because in 2026, that's when all the tackles come out. They not
Mm-hmm.
even thinking about 2025. That's why he not
Mm-hmm.
at them scouting combines and them
Because 2025,
HBC,
most of these top tackles gonna be guards in the league anyway.
Well,
basically.
well,
So
what
next
I'm
year,
trying to,
you got nothing but tackles coming out next year and
what,
centers coming out. The O-line is what's going to be heavy next year, like the defense is heavy this year.
but what I'm trying to say is that what Terry Fontenot bread and butter was in New
Yeah, at New
Orleans.
Orleans. Yeah, you
Yeah,
definitely
so
right.
use that to Atlanta advantage. Use
Because
that to
I
our
get what you're
advantage.
saying. He was more hands-on over there
Right,
at the Saints. Now
right.
he just want to delegate all the work out, and them
But
scouts don't know what they
hey,
looking at.
but Rich, but you also got to understand this too. He had Mickey Loomis, who also is so it was really two general managers in New Orleans. Why
Yeah.
he was hands on. So let's go ahead and keep this a book.
Come on now, because
Mickey
Mickey Loomis
Loomis,
gave what's his
Mickey,
name?
think about it. Mickey Loomis was
Taysom Hill
letting
40
Terry,
some million.
but just think about it. Mickey Loomis is still the GM. He was really letting Terry work his magic, and Mickey was pretty much working the books. He was
Yep.
Right.
letting Terry bring in the talent, and he was
Hey,
working the books.
but
And
that's
he
why
taught
Thomas
Terry how to
Dimitroff
work
was
the
so.
books.
But
But
that's
that's
why
the
Thomas
same reason why we
Dimitroff was
got
so
Kyle Smith
hands
and Ryan
on.
Pace in Atlanta right now.
Nah, but if you remember, that's why Thomas Dimitroff was so hands on because remember the Falcons had like 6 GMs in the office at that time. So
Remember, it's one of them too. You had Pelosi that was one of our
Yep.
GMs as well.
Right.
And everybody
They,
forget that he's another one that was definitely an architect in building that New England dynasty before he came over
yep.
here and helped
Yeah.
us get straight for 2016. So again, you've got to start looking at the fact of bringing in folks with experience. You can't just keep bringing in first year guys. If you're gonna bring in a first year guy, and I've been
Ooh.
saying it for the longest, bring in a first year guy, but also have a veteran that's going to be there to guide them and teach them so they don't have to learn the hard way
hey,
on the
and that's
job.
and that's
On
what
the
me
fly.
and you talked about that day on Facebook. Remember, we said that was Raheem Morris' biggest mistake. Not getting him his head coach was a mistake. Getting a rookie offensive and defensive course, somebody got to be the vet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You even if you get, and this is what I was saying, you let the young guys know, like, listen, you're gonna be my OC, but what I'm gonna do, I gotta let the vet look. You're gonna run the plays, but this is what I need you to do. You gotta let the vet work his magic. He'll have a title less than yours. You're gonna have the OC title, but guess what? You're gonna be learning
Mm.
from him. He's gonna
I,
be calling the plays. I need you to learn from him. I need you to
Right.
do this. It's ways that you can do that to where you can have, is what we would say, that experience rubbing off on a young guy opposed to him learning by trial by fire.
But see, that's where I think the effery comes in at. Because I'm gonna tell you something that I've been pondering on for a long time, and I just ain't opened my mouth. Someone said it one day. I forgot who podcast I was on, but the only reason I ain't opened my mouth is because I wanted to make sure. I never thought. See, to me, he wanted Jeff Ulbrich from the get go, but they made him interim. I think he wanted Ulbrich his first year, but remember they made him interim after they got rid of Sala. So he went with Jimmy Lake because I feel like you already knew Jimmy Lake wasn't finna be. Everybody knew that because he's
But
never really had NFL experience. I think the
But
mission for him was to throw Jimmy Lake under the bus. I just
Yep.
feel that way.
that the problem. We always hiring the
And
first year.
You had a Steve Wilkes in the building.
Right.
You had not
Right.
just Steve Wilkes, you also had Jerry Gray that's been in the building. That's coached
That's why
great
no. See,
defenses.
that's where I said the effery comes in that because he didn't want nobody that could challenge him that first year. Like Aubrey said, I don't care how Raheem feel. If something ain't working, I'm finna tell him. And he said we just gonna have to go at it and be mad at each other. But at the end of the day, one thing I can say, like I said, I didn't even want Jeff Ulbrich. I wanted Martin Winkendale or whatever his name was because I know
Yeah,
how
Martin
aggressive
Winkendale,
he is.
yeah.
But one thing I can't understand when with that Jeff, that's why I say Jeff Ulbrich. I know people say talk is a lot, but he sort of earned my respect when he said, I don't care what Raheem say. If something ain't working, I go in his office and we just gonna have to fight about it. Because you got to understand the first thing Ulbrich said, they remember they asked him about our pass rush and he laughed.
Mm-hmm.
The man literally laughed at our pass rush. You
I
know
would
why?
laugh too.
Me
No,
too.
but what I'm saying,
Man,
nah,
that's because we
Ron,
don't. That's
nah,
because
but
we
see,
didn't have a pass
but
rush, Rich. Come
Right.
on,
no,
man.
but you gotta
Right.
understand it. Looking from his lens, look at who he just came from dealing with. Quinyon Mitchell, this guy, that guy. The defense on the Jets was not the problem at all.
It
Right.
was the quarterback spot,
It
really,
was
because they
the
had
offense.
weapons. That's the
Right.
problem. Aaron Rodgers got Robert Saleh
Fire.
fired. He got him fired because guess what? You got Brees Hall in the backfield, who's a nasty running back. You got Adams
Braden
on the
Allen,
outside. You got
Right. You
what's
got
the kid's name out of Ohio State? You got all these
Garrett
guys.
Wilson.
You
Wilson.
got Garrett Wilson. You
Yeah.
have a great offensive line who gives you time. The problem was the quarterback spot. If I'm gonna tell you this here, Aaron Glenn walked into a situation that was already set up for him. Lovely.
right.
The only
Just
thing he's
like
gonna do,
Raheem Morris.
I ain't gonna say that, but again, when you have the number one defense in the league 2 out of the 3 years, that should tell you something. And Aaron Glenn had a top defense in Detroit. So he's got pieces to work with. The question is this: who's gonna come over to us and we're gonna see how this goes. Last thoughts on this right here, because we gotta end the show, gotta get to the next spot or whatnot. Shout out to all my vets out there. Gotta hit the VA. You know how it go. Get your good pills.
Oh
But
yeah, that monthly visit. Yeah.
man, gotta pick them up, man. They weren't sending them to the house, so I got to swing by it. But the last thing I'm gonna ask everybody on the panel, I'm gonna start with Jade. I'm gonna let Jaden, Jay, Texas Boy, Wolf, Rich, and then Ron, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. The last thing I'm gonna ask you guys is this: if we decide to wear, and this is just hypothetically, if we decide if things don't go right this year, if they don't go right, I want them to go right. But if they don't go right this year, who would you have as a replacement for Raheem Morris? And do you think Terry Fontenot is going to still be around here? Jaden?
Whew, shit. Oh my God. Who would I want as a replacement? I say Brian Flores.
Okay.
He should have been here. He was on my radar.
I like
Can't be
that.
mad at that.
All right.
Wolf, who you got?
I think that Raheem Morris is going to exceed expectations. Because that's where he is right now. I think he'll exceed expectations. And but if I had to choose, if I had it, I'll take Lovey Smith and Brian Leftwich.
Good one. Good
Mm,
one.
I'm good with
Good
that.
one.
That's a hell of a
Yeah, yeah.
combination right there. Okay. Um,
Good
let's
one.
let's go with my man Jay. Jay, what you got, man?
Which I hope this motherfucker don't come back next year. I just can't stand
Hey,
him.
wait a minute.
Uh-uh.
Hold up. Look, won't mind you saying damn
My
ass now.
bad. My bad. My
Yeah,
bad.
no, it's cool. It's cool.
I get
I gotta
emotional.
make
This
yeah,
tic tac
I
toe,
gotta
man.
make
All
sure.
right.
You know what?
My fault.
That's on me because I didn't set the precedence. It's your first time on here, but
Nah,
yeah, those words you
that
can't
is
use.
on me. I know the damn rules. I
I
know
got you,
it's
my
on
boy.
me.
What you got?
So if and when he do fail, Give me Rex. I'm sorry. Just give me Rex Ryan. Give me
Okay.
Rex Ryan. Give me somebody who ain't finna be kissing nobody donkey, cussing you out. Give me him. And I'm
You,
cool. We should have had
hey,
him
you
before
can say
Dan
ass.
Quinn.
Hold on. You can say
Mhm.
ass on here. Just say it. He ain't kissing nobody ass.
He
Just
ain't
say
kissing
ass.
no
Damn
ass.
it,
Damn it. Just give me Rex. And shit, I'm good.
hell. Hey, what you got, GA Texas boy?
Man, y'all already know me. Logo business. I'm gonna ride with Raheem Morris and Jeff Olbrick and Zach Robinson this year. I hope we get the job done. Like for me, this right here remind me of 2017 when Dan Quinn decided to go with Steve Sarkisian and Markel Emanuel. And then what happened at the end of 2017? They fired Markel Emanuel.
So here's the question I got, because the thing that we were saying was if he gets fired, I get you riding, but if he gets fired, who would you bring in as a replacement coach?
Zach Robinson, keep the offense together.
So you want to bring in another first time head coach? Hmm.
Oh,
I mean, hey, he know the personnel, so I can't be mad, but I get where you coming from with that. But all right, Rich, what you got? Rich, you
Can't hear
muted,
you.
bro.
Can't hear you.
You muted,
I'm gonna
bro.
be honest. That's a question I never really thought about because I just honestly seeing them being successful this year. But if I had to, I'm gonna go on and say Chuck Smith.
Ooh.
As a head coach,
Yep,
that
yep,
man said as a head coach. Okay,
yep,
I ain't mad at it.
I
yep,
can't be mad at him or whatnot, but
yep. Cause
I
I know,
haven't even
hey,
seen him as a
one
D
thing that I
coordinator yet.
know, Chuck Smith gonna have that defense A1. I ain't worried about my defense if he in there. So if defense win championships, cause remember he said it. I could fix Vic Beasley and Tack McKinley. So if you can fix Vic Beasley and Tack McKinley, yeah, we need to bring you on up in here.
But here's my thing: I need to see him as a defensive coordinator before I put him in a spot with all that power, because
Right.
he's never been a whole D coordinator. He just got to become a position coach, my guy. I can't just give him
I
that.
know it. I'm just
Give him the
hey,
cane.
because my only other choice was Deion Sanders, but that's neither here nor there.
Hey, man,
I
you
like
about to get it.
prime time. I'm gonna just be honest. I do.
Hey, Rich, you about to get this man the keys to the range, like JE used to say back in the day, bro.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, what you got, man?
Yeah. Give me Brian Flores
Okay.
for it.
Agreed.
And Lewis with it at GM.
I think that would be a nasty combination. If I gotta go head coach, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think Rex Ryan would be a great replacement, like my guy was saying before. But if I got to go and I gotta start looking at guys around the league, when you talk about being a head coach at one point, I honestly am going to look at the Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. Experienced guy, has won a championship, has been in control before, understands how to bring in players, understands how to get the best out of his players as an experience. I know that might sound crazy, but I also know that his defenses are aggressive and he would definitely bring somebody in who's competent defensively, and he ain't gonna touch that offense.
Right.
He's gonna let the young OC cook.
Now, if we talk about people with experience, I go and try to pull Robert Saleh from 49ers because he only a DC. He trust and
No,
believe he want
I
another
get it,
head
man.
coach position.
I get it, but here's my thing. They're not, think about this. Shanahan done blocked everybody from going pretty much poaching folks from his staff from Atlanta. He's already blocked folks. So guess what? I'm gonna go to the squad that just won a Super Bowl with a guy that's got over 20 years of experience as a coach and understands how to transition and talk to young guys. Because think about it, the way the game is now, young guys are now turned off by old school coaches to a certain extent. But when you got a guy that's got credibility and can bring that to the table, young guys gonna listen. That's just
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
what it
I'm
is.
definitely with Vic because see, Vic humble enough and smart enough that he called down to Georgia and told Kirby Smart, "Look, I don't know what I'm doing with these boys. What defense did you run to make them successful the
Well,
way they was?"
Exactly. Now you see why I said I would bring him in. It's not just because of that. It's because of the fact that
Hey,
he's willing to find out what
now
guys' strengths and weaknesses are. Think about this. Bill Walsh did the same thing with Jerry Rice with Archie Cooley. Rest in peace to the gunslinger out of Mississippi Valley State. Think about it. Jerry Rice
Mhm.
didn't understand the concept of that playbook. A lot of those slants and a lot of those routes, passing concepts that you saw from that 49ers team came from the gunslinger out of Mississippi Valley State. So I got to drop the Black history knowledge in here for y'all today too. So it is what it is, man. I appreciate y'all for stopping by and bumper to bumper with your boy. Hey, man, check us out
Curtis
Thursday
Smart.
night at 8 p.m.
Curtis
So,
Smart.
hey, so fellas, if you got podcasts, please tell them where to find you at. Ron, Rich, and if any and my guy Wolf, and if anybody else has a podcast on here that we don't know about, let folks know.
You either find me on Talk Your Ears Tuesday nights around 8 o'clock. We be on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. We be everywhere talking all types. And you can find me on the big game on Monday morning around 8 o'clock.
You got about 30 podcasts. You like a damn Jamaican, my boy.
Yeah,
Appreciate you coming through, family.
but
Hey, Rich, what you got for us, my boy?
Name King Richie. You can find me on Dirty Falcon Podcast. You can also type in King Richie, pop out, find my music. You know what I'm saying? I plan on getting everything together for the podcast this year. Ryan helping me with everything. So, look, salute Atlanta Falcon bumper to bumper. Make sure y'all tune in because Ryan drop gems every time now.
Hey man, it's not just me, man. We got the magnificent birdcage crew that do the damn thing too.
Oh
I
yeah,
can't look.
Birdcage
I'm
crew.
only listen. I'm only as strong as the team that's around me, and definitely we got some ballers. Cause guess what, Rich? You come in here, you drop knowledge too. So we appreciate you spreading that knowledge on this show, man. So appreciate you, bro. Definitely always love you coming through, my guy. So Wolf, let the folks know where you at.
Hey man, Wolf Solidified, formerly known. Now Wolf respectfully, you know what I'm saying? I got banned for telling the truth. So come over. I got some great videos piling up. I got 2 or 3 videos coming out. I can't go live yet because I don't got 50 subscribers. So come through, give your boy a subscribe, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of the most authentic. I ain't the realest, I'm the most authentic, and I'm needed. I'm needed in the content creation space that is the Atlanta Falcons. I'm needed. Trust me. You're gonna love me. Your mother loves me, your father respects me, and your sister cooking home fries for me. That's a fact. All right?
Hey man, look, you got to remember we got some southern folks here that don't know what them home fries are. Fried potatoes, folks. That's what them home fries are. Hash. Look, they call them home fries up north, but they are really hash browns with no damn seasoning. That's what the hell it is. But Wolf put seasoning on his stuff, so you ain't got to worry about it. Shout out to my guy Wolf.
And,
Appreciate you.
hey man, appreciate you for having me on, Ryan. I'll catch you on the next one. Shout out to the Birdcage, man. Shout out to K Dubs and Beard Gray. Shout out to both of those guys, man. They also do great stuff over here, man. So I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for having me on, bro.
Appreciate you, fam. Hey man, so Jay, let us know if you got a podcast channel, you shout it out or whatnot, so we can go ahead and roll on out of here. What you got?
Yeah, you can follow me at no damn where. Man, I ain't got nothing. I'm just here to talk football. I appreciate it.
Hey man, appreciate you stopping through.
All
Appreciate
right.
you, my guy. GA Texas boy, what you got? I know you getting ready to start a podcast.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna start one up, man. I just love coming on here, be able to talk ball, man, and talk about them Falcons, man. Shit, I ain't got nobody to talk Falcons with. So anytime somebody drop that link, man, I'm gonna come on there and support them birds regardless, man.
Hey man, we appreciate you coming through, my guy. Thank you again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all.
Hey man, you already know how we get down. You either get right or you get left. We appreciate you coming through for bumper to bumper today. I apologize if I couldn't get to you, but guess what? We've been on for an hour and a half. So definitely appreciate y'all for coming through. Check us out Thursday, 8 p.m. You either get right or you get left. Shout out to my family, the magnificent Birdcage crew. Hey man, we gonna get it in Friday. So I mean Thursday. So And we also got some other stuff that's gonna be coming in too, from interviews and a few other things. So check us out. Much love, y'all. Y'all stay safe. Peace.